Welcome back to the channel and good morning my friends. It's Saturday, 5 o'clock in the morning here in Vienna, Austria. And today we're doing something quite special and completely different. I'd like to take you... I still have to wake up. I'd like to take you with me because I'm playing a stadium show today in my hometown, Wiener Neustadt. It's the first big show and production since 2 years, I think, since you know what happened. And you know me by now, there's gonna be a twist with all of this. I'm actually bringing a guitar that costs $300 or less as one of my main guitars today. On one hand, because it simply sounded really good at the sound checks and rehearsals that we had over the last couple of weeks. And on the other hand, to hopefully prove that you don't need the $10,000 custom shop guitars to play big shows like this. But let's see if I'm actually right about this.
Okay, this is not supposed to happen right now. This is gonna be a problem.
Okay, so I have everything set up and prepared right here because my Uber is picking me up in around 30 minutes now. You're all probably familiar with this guitar. This is my Ibanez AC in black flat, which has been my main guitar over the last year. We're still gonna have to clean it a little bit so that it looks good for the show. So this one is really cool and I'm quite comfortable with it by now, but I actually never played it live and I'm really looking forward to testing it, if it's also a great live guitar. And pro tip, don't forget to bring your whammy bar to the shows and also don't leave it right here, because there's gonna be a bad surprise when you close the case like this. Okay, and this is my second main guitar, the one that I'm using for the majority of the concert, and this is the one I talked about. None of my band members actually guessed so far that it's a $300 guitar. And our awesome sound engineer actually told me at the last sound check that it sounds absolutely amazing. This one is especially great for electric guitar players like me, who constantly find themselves in the situation of having to play acoustic guitar at live shows or with studio jobs. Because it's really thin, as you can see, it almost feels like an electric. The neck is also great. Of course, the sound is a bit thinner than with a regular acoustic guitar, but since I'm plugged in today and since I'm playing both acoustic and electric guitar over my camper profiler today, it doesn't matter that much. So let's take that one with us today and see what happens. Please let me and our YouTube community know right now in the comments if you have this one special guitar at home, which actually isn't really the most expensive one in your collection, but simply sounds and plays absolutely amazing. Okay, so here are the two main guitars. This is my backpack that I'm taking with me with my laptop and all of that stuff. Still have to close it up. So it's time to drive to the sound check together right now. Let's go.
Okay, so the plan right now is to meet up with Daniel Fellner, who you might know from our studio episode. He also plays guitar and keyboard in this band, and with Matthias Ambros, who is our drummer. And then we will drive to the show together. Okay, so now we're entering the festival area, and this is always the tricky part, to kind of find where you have to go and where the backstage is located and where the stage is located at. Right now we're completely wrong, by the way, that's the security entrance. And now we're on the sidewalk actually, and we have to get back down to the road again. So the first thing you have to do on site is simply checking in to get your cool looking artist or crew pass, so that you can move freely across the entire area, to the backstage, to the stage and so on. Since the crew is still setting up the equipment on stage, we have a bit of extra time to grab some breakfast. The catering at big shows and festivals like this is always pretty good. So since there's not too much to do during the day, there's a lot of eating involved. So now we're getting a shuttle to the stage. With big venues like this, everything is quite far apart. So before sound checks, we just take a bit of extra time to set everything up. It's gonna be a very quick sound check because the festival starts quite soon. But it's great and really important for me personally to get a feeling for the stage, so I'm grateful to have a sound check at least. That's one of the benefits, I guess, when you're playing for the headlining act. So let's start the quick rig rundown. This is the small cab that I'm bringing to the shows that Heisu or Hisu built for me a couple of years ago. This one is actually just for me on stage to hear my guitar. I don't think that they mic it up at all. We usually don't bring it or don't use it for smaller shows, but it's great to have it on a big stage, just to kind of hear and really feel the guitar aside from the in-ear monitoring that we're using. So this is the camper remote that I use on stage to switch between the different sounds and effects. It's actually quite simple. We made completely different performances for each song. This way I have up to 10 different amp and cab combinations and effect combinations that suit the song. And I teased it in the beginning, something's actually quite wrong here, maybe you've seen it already. Since a couple of weeks it takes a while for my remote to switch between the different profiles. The sound is actually spot on as soon as I'm switching, but the lights come on a little bit late, so I hope that this is not gonna be a problem with the show. It's a bit confusing as you start playing a solo and you switch to the different channel and the light doesn't come on immediately, so you step on it again. So if you guys and girls are familiar with this issue, please let me know in the comments, that would really help me out. I just hope that everything works out tonight. Now this is our guitar corner, where our awesome guitar tech Lubo takes care of all the instruments. As you can see, he just finished restringing Daniel's guitar and he's also making sure that it looks clean, so that we don't look like amateurs up there. It's extremely helpful and very, very important to have someone like this on your team. These are some of the backup guitars that we are bringing to the shows in case something happens. Today I actually brought my new Ibanez AC Essentials guitar that I got a couple of weeks ago from Ibanez Germany. I also have an older Ibanez RG Prestige model and another acoustic guitar with me. This is where we are storing all of our Elixir strings. We do like to change strings very often just to make sure that nothing happens, and I think in 6 years of playing with this production you can count the broken strings on one hand, so that's pretty cool. Okay, this is for all of the gear nerds. We have our wireless rack and the camper rack. So of course we are all playing wireless, especially on big stages, so that we can all move around. And we also have our in-ear system, which is quite important because we are playing to a click live. And it's great to place our camper profilers with the crew. Once again, in case something happens, I'm sure that they will figure it out much faster than I could. And one last pro tip, this is my X where I have to stand when I'm performing a solo. For the lighting guys, always make sure to stand exactly there when you're playing a solo, or they will get very angry with you. Alright, now everything is mic'd up and we're ready for sound check. We are always quickly checking all of the instruments and inputs first to see if everything works correctly. So I made sure to try my acoustic guitar right away. Can't hear it that well with the phone placed on the stage, but I really like how full it actually sounds. Something I personally really don't like is when you plug in an acoustic and you put in your in-ears and it sounds extremely thin and kind of fizzy. So once again, I'm really happy with this guitar, also with how it plays. One thing that's quite interesting, I think, is that I'm sharing the same wireless signal with both my electric and acoustic guitar. So when I'm switching guitars, I always have to turn off the wireless on the previous guitar and turn it on the next one. Alright, so we didn't have a lot of time for soundcheck, but everything sounded pretty good. I sadly didn't get to play a full song on the acoustic, but I just trust that everything works later on. So right now the waiting backstage can begin. We're playing in around 8 hours. The backstage area is actually quite cool, and I had a really cool talk with Michael from Bullet from My Valentine. I think he did confuse me with Ola England though, but it's still great when awesome people like that came across your content somewhere. So on tour I always bring my little mini office in the form of my laptop and an audio interface. Right now I'm using the free time to answer your questions and messages on Patreon that you send me every day. That's of course where you can get my most recent guitar online courses, exercises, video play-alongs, all of the good stuff. I added the link below in case you're still not part of our awesome community over there. Make sure to check it out. And after that, of course, it's practice time, and this time I'm focusing on the acoustic, and I'm starting with a bit of improvisation today, just to loosen up a bit before I begin my practice routine and before I start going through the most critical spots of the set. I actually make a special Cubase project that I always bring with me. This one features the most difficult and tricky sections of the set. Of course, it's important to go through the entire set to be sure not to miss anything, but I'm sure we all know those small spots that are extra difficult. In my case, those are all the guitar solos and especially the acoustic guitar solos. So it really helps to have a Cubase project ready like this with the backing tracks in there, and that way I can loop those sections and play the solo over and over again. Okay, it's getting closer to showtime right now. We're taking a shuttle to the stage. We will start playing in around 30 minutes, and I think the changeover has already started. So Bullet for My Valentine finished their set, and it's time for us to go on stage.
Ich hab ohne Wissen, wo sie war, so war das wissen die jetzt nicht. Tut mir leid, mir geschmeckt, aber davon weiß ich nichts. Also lass uns mir nur ein ganzes bisschen was zu reden. Tut mir leid, mir geschmeckt, aber davon weiß ich nichts. Ich hab ohne Wissen, wo sie war, so war das wissen die jetzt nicht. Mir geschmeckt, aber davon weiß ich nichts. Also lass uns mir nur ein ganzes bisschen was zu reden.
So overall I was quite happy with the show, especially considering the long break. It's been over 600 days since I played a show like this, and it did feel like home after just a couple of songs. One thing that made me extra happy is that I had some time to hang out with Daniel, who's a VIP Club patron. He came to the show and we managed to meet up, and I also finally got to see the t-shirt that Patron is sending out to our VIP Club patrons, so that's pretty awesome. So if you see this, Daniel, thanks so much for coming and for nerding out about guitars right after the show. It was really awesome. And of course also thanks to everybody who's supporting the channel. That really means a lot to me. So right now, after saying goodbye to everybody, we're taking a shuttle back to Vienna. As some of you might know, I quit drinking a couple of years ago, so there's not much partying for me after shows like this. I'm just happy to go home and to bed. It's been a really long day. So thanks a lot for watching this video, and make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. That really means a lot to me, since it was something completely different. Remember to subscribe in case you're still not part of our awesome YouTube community, and I will see you again in the next video. Good night and have an awesome day.